Traveling sets my soul on fire, and if you're here watching this video, I'm gonna assume that you feel the same way. Traveling, especially if you're traveling on a long-haul flight or abroad, can feel very daunting and overwhelming. But I'm here to tell you that it doesn't have to be, because in this video, I'm gonna go over 10 travel hacks you can follow to make your travel a lot easier and to maximize your time while you're traveling. So this way you can just focus on having a good time and enjoying yourself. So I'm gonna talk about some hacks for before you leave for your trip, and then some hacks and tips for while you're actually traveling or on the airplane. The most important tip is tip number 13, so make sure you watch until the end. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Tip number 1 is to get currency from your local bank before you leave for your trip. And obviously this is if you plan on traveling abroad to another country outside of the US. You want to make sure that you're avoiding currency exchanges at airports and touristy places while you're actually abroad at your destination. And yes, you can go to that country's local ATMs. I have heard that they give you a pretty good exchange rate, but you do run the risk of getting charged with high foreign transaction fees or just ATM fees, unless you have a really good debit card that will reimburse your fees. But in my opinion, this also just feels like a headache. So if you can, just avoid this headache. Get it done and taken care of before you're on your trip. Have your cash in hand. That way, when you get to your destination, you're not worrying about the fact that, oh, you have to go find an ATM before you can do anything, or you're worried about getting scammed or anything like that. It just feels like one extra thing that you have to do when you get there. So in my opinion, I think it's just better to have the cash before you travel. So by ordering currency at your home's local bank, this still ensures that you get a really good exchange rate than obviously what you would get at a currency exchange spot at your destination. Hack number 2, and this is more so when you're in the planning and researching phase, but for tip number 2, usually when I'm planning my trip, to do some research and to get some inspiration for things to do, I like to go on websites like Viator and Klook, see what kind of tours they are offering at the destination where I'm going. Because 1, this lets me now book a tour if I want to, and number 2, it also allows me to see what kinds of things there are to do at that place. So now I can just go ahead and do those things on my own, but at least I also get an idea of what types of stuff there is to do and what things there are to see, so I can incorporate these into my itinerary. And this is especially helpful if I'm feeling really overwhelmed about a place. And on that same note, number 3 is to book your tours and your tickets in advance online. They are usually much cheaper this way than if you were to go to the spot the day of and try to get tickets then. And then also you can avoid long lines at hot touristy spots. If you book your ticket in advance, then you can kind of just show up, you have your ticket in hand, you cut the line, and you just go in. Tip number 4 is to download the Google app as well as download Google Maps offline. So this is kind of a 2-in-1 hack, but part A of this is to 1, make sure that you have the Google app downloaded on your phone. Especially if you are going abroad to another country where you don't speak the language. Google has that translate lens functionality, so this will allow you to translate things while you're out shopping or when you're at restaurants and they have menus in the local language. This was a lifesaver for me in places like Korea and Japan, where I obviously did not speak the language. But I did a lot of shopping in both of those places, so it was very, very helpful to have the Google Lens on my phone, so I could just hold it over the product I wanted to buy, and I knew exactly what it was for. And the second part of this, part B, is to download Google Maps offline. So when you're planning out your trip beforehand and you kind of have your plans and your itinerary mapped out, if you know that you're not going to have Wi-Fi or you don't have like a data plan at all times, then you can actually download an offline version of Google Maps onto your phone. This way you can just pull it up whenever you need to, and it'll be there on your phone even though you don't have Wi-Fi access. If you're getting any value at all from this video, it would really mean a lot to me if you went ahead and hit that red subscribe button. This way you'll be notified anytime I upload similar videos. Hack number 5 is to get air tags for your luggage, and get an air tag for each one of your suitcases or your luggage pieces. This will be really helpful in case your luggage gets lost. This happened to me in Seoul, where one of my suitcases did not make it over, and I went into my phone and I saw that my suitcase was still in San Francisco. It had never left. So when I told the people at the airport who were helping us, they immediately looked into it and they were able to find the luggage and they sent it on over onto the next flight. And I was able to get my suitcase within 24 hours. So that was really helpful. Tip number 6 is to get packing cubes. Packing cubes have been a complete game changer in my life. Packing cubes help to keep things organized in your suitcase so you're not in there shuffling and rumbling things around and just making a huge mess. You can separate the cubes out by the different outfits you're going to wear or the different types of things things that you're bringing. So you can have a cube for pants, a cube for shirts, a cube for socks, or you can just have, if you're going on like a 6-day trip, you can have one cube with 3 full outfits in it and then another cube with another 3 full outfits. That way you just open up the cube, pull out your outfit for day 1, pull out your outfit for day 2, and so on and so forth. And it just helps to keep things really streamlined and really organized. And also, if you do utilize drawers at hotel rooms, you can kind of just take your cube out of your suitcase and stick the entire cube in the drawer. So it's just much easier than having to literally unpack everything and load it and then pack it up later again. You can also keep a couple of cubes, empty cubes for dirty clothes, so that way you don't have dirty clothes mixing in with your clean clothes at the end of the trip. I'm telling you guys, this has been an absolute game changer. If you haven't tried out packing cubes already, make sure you give them a try. I'll leave a link down below in the description for some packing cubes that you can try out and take a look at if you want. Okay, let's move on to the planning for the actual travel day and the airplane. Hack number 7, and again, this is like a 3-in-1. But hack number 7 is to bring a reusable water bottle with you, because this way, 1, you're reducing toxins, you're reducing plastics that go into your body, and 2, you can easily refill it up from one of the water fountains in the airport, or you can go to an airport lounge and get some free water there and fill up your water bottle. For the airplane, I personally like bringing something with like a twist cap on the top and not something with a straw like this. This is a Simple Modern one. Something about the straw, even though granted on this one I have a little cap for it, but something about having a straw on an airplane just grosses me out. I don't know why. So I just prefer to bring one with the twist cap, where you open up the whole cap, drink, and then plug it back on. Maybe something like the Walla or a Clean Canteen. Again, that's just my preference. I'm also a really big germaphobe, which you'll find out in these next few points here, especially when it comes to the airplane. So if there's an opportunity for me to keep things a little bit cleaner or to make myself not be so grossed out, then I will do that. The other thing that I like to bring on the airplane is electrolyte packets. And I either bring actual packets. Right now I've been using Relight, or I will just bring a little Ziploc bag and put some of the electrolyte powder from the big tub in there. You get so dehydrated while traveling, so it's really important to hydrate properly, because water alone is not going to cut it. You need to have your electrolytes on a daily basis as it is. So obviously when you're on an airplane and it's like extreme dehydration, you really need all the help that you can get. So with the electrolyte packets, it's really easy, because you can just take it and then dump it into your water bottle, mix it up a little bit, and just drink that, and that'll ensure that you stay hydrated throughout the flight. And if I'm on like a really long haul flight, I'll actually dump like 2 packets in there just to last me a little bit longer, and I'll keep refilling it with some water. Again, I'll link some water bottles and electrolytes down in the description below if you want to check these out for your next flight. Super, super helpful. And the last thing that I usually pack on the airplane with me is an eye mask. No matter where you sit on the airplane, there is just always so much light, whether it's from the bathroom or the little lights going down the airplane aisle, or someone turns on their reading light or whatever it is. And especially if you're on a red eye, this can just get so annoying, because there's just always lights shining into your eyes and it's really hard to sleep. Also, people's TV screens are on, so those are extremely bright. So I bring an eye mask, which helps me to sleep a little bit better. Obviously, you're not going to get the best sleep on an airplane, but it is what it is. Even a little bit will help, right? This way, if I can get some sleep while having my eyes covered, it prevents me from feeling completely delusional when I get to my destination. Hack number 8 is to pack an additional outfit and toiletries in your carry-on that you're bringing with you on the airplane. Basically, pack enough essentials in your carry-on to hold you over for a day, maybe even for 2 if you have the space and you can make it work. This is in case your luggage get lost. So at least once you get to your destination and you check into your hotel, you can shower, you can brush your teeth, you can do your makeup, and you have a fresh pair of clothes to put on. And you're not worrying about not having anything and having to go find a place to shop at immediately as soon as you land to get some of this stuff. Now, if your luggage does end up being really delayed or completely lost, and you do need to obviously get more things for your trip, if you have a good travel credit card, you can actually go shopping for the things that you need, and these credit cards will reimburse you up to a certain amount, and this varies depending on which credit card you have. So again, before you leave, just make sure you check your credit card's guidelines to see what they cover if your bags get lost. Tip number 9 before you leave is to take photos or make photocopies of important documents like your passport, your license. This is in case you lose it. Now, if you decide to take a photo of your passport from your phone, then make sure you text that photo to some family members. Just send it over to them just in case something happens to your phone. Now you don't have access to anything. And if you're making physical photocopies, then yeah, give it to somebody at home as well. But then also make several copies and just put it throughout a couple different of your luggage pieces. So that way, if one gets lost, at least you know that you have a photocopy of it somewhere else. In case your passport gets lost, and you need to reference that. Tip number 10 is to get a universal adapter. And this is what I'm talking about right here. So I don't know how well you can see here. It's not gonna really show properly, but basically what it is that it's a little box, and it has the different plugs for all of the different regions of the world. So this one specifically, there's an outlet for the UK, Europe, the US, Australia, and New Zealand. So that way I don't have to buy different adapters every time I'm traveling to a different region of the world or to a different country. I just pack this one cube with me, and it has everything in it, so I don't have to worry about buying and packing the different ones. And not this one, but the other one that I have actually has a bunch of USB ports here. And so we're able to actually plug in multiple devices at night and I charge them while we're back at our hotel. So that's really convenient as well. So highly recommend you get something like this. It's just called a universal adapter, and I will link that below in the description. Hack number 11 is to bring a portable charger with you. And this is especially if you are going out to a big city and you know you're gonna be out and about, walking all day, using your maps all day, and taking photos and whatnot. It's best to keep a portable charger with you in your backpack or in your purse. So that way you just have peace of mind, and you know that you can navigate back to your hotel at the end of the night, or you are able to find a restaurant to eat at if you're hungry. I totally went out of order in this video, by the way. These are not things for the airplane, but it is what it is. They're tips for the whole trip, okay? Tip number 12 is to wipe down your seat as soon as you get on the airplane. And just trust me on this. Airplanes are nasty. Airplane seats are nasty. I'm just gonna be honest here, guys. People are disgusting. I have just witnessed one too many things in my life of people doing things like on the subway in New York City while I was working there, and just on airplanes, and it's just disgusting. So I will actually never get onto an airplane and sit there without wiping my seat down, unless it's one of those fabric seats, which is just disgusting. Then obviously I don't have a choice, but I always bring a packet of Lysol wipes or just disinfectant wipes, and I will clean my entire seat down. I will clean the handrests, the TV screen, the fan buttons up top, like basically anything that I will be touching, I will wipe down completely. And I just grab these wipes from Target before the trip and pack them in my purse, so it's really easy. And yes, of course, I get some weird looks and even comments at times from people, but guess what? I literally do not care. The last thing you want to do is get sick on your trip while you're on vacation that you spent thousands of dollars to take between the flights and the hotels, and then be sick for it because you touched someone else's nasty like sneeze germs on the handrail. Also take whatever vitamins and supplements that you need to give yourself an immune boost before the trip. Like start building up your immune system before the trip, and then continue taking it like the day of travel and afterwards, so that way you can really keep your immune system up and going so you don't fall sick. Because the truth is, when you're traveling, you are exposed to a bunch of new people and germs, and you're at restaurants and you're touching things and you're interacting with so many different people. So just make sure that you stay healthy, because again, as I said, you spent thousands of dollars on this trip. Like, you don't want to be sick. Trust me, I have been there and it's been miserable, and it just feels like a waste. It's a shame. That's not how we maximize our travel. Don't be sick. Tip number 13 is to have a good travel credit card. This is such an important one, and probably the most important one. Having a good travel credit card will allow you to avoid foreign transaction fees, which will save you a ton of money while you're transacting and using your credit card abroad. And it will also give you travel insurance, so you don't have to purchase travel insurance separately for when you rent a car or for the flights. So this will really act as a safety net for any flight delays or cancellations as well. And yes, that is correct. A good travel card will help you get refunds or give you hotel credit or credit for snacks if your flight is delayed by a certain number of hours. And also, this is like a big one, especially for me, is that if you have a good travel credit card, you can get airport lounge access. And this comes So this is so useful when you're traveling on long haul trips, or if you have a long layover somewhere. You can go and load up on free food, free snacks, and even take a shower at some airport lounges. So it really, really is such a great perk. I was recently at the Etihad Airways lounge at Dulles DC Airport a couple months ago, and that airport lounge is beautiful, and they're serving like gourmet meals, and literally we had a 5.5 hour layover and had like 2 meals there with a bunch of snacks, like just free everything. It was so worth it. Now, if you have no idea what a good travel credit card is to get, or you're not sure which one would be a good fit for you, then don't even worry about it, because that's exactly what I go over in this video right here, where I go over the top travel credit cards in the market today. So I highly suggest you check that out next, and I will catch you in the next video.